evening and welcome to our council meeting, Monday the 18th of August. There's a statement that I need to read out prior to commencement. Ladies and gentlemen, please note that this meeting is being audio live streamed and recorded on the council's website in accordance with council's live streaming of open council meetings policy. The recording will be archived and made available on council's website after the meeting. While care is taken to maintain your privacy while in attendance at the council meeting, please note that your presence in the council chambers and or your voice may be live streamed and recorded, including any statement made during public question time or consideration of planning matters. All speakers ought to refrain from making any defamatory comments or releasing personal information of another individual without their consent. Council accepts no liability for any damage that may result from defamatory comments, and all liability will rest with the individual making those comments. By remaining in the public gallery, you are deemed to consent to being live streamed and recorded. So if any person attending the meeting does not agree to being live streamed or recorded, you may choose to leave the meeting. Thank you. Okay. Attendance. We've got an apology from Councillor McCullough?
Yes.
He's on leave, that's right, yes. Okay, now I would like to suggest to the councillors that we stand and hold a minute's silence as respect in the memory of the inaugural mayor of this council in 1993, Mr Kenneth von Bibra became the first mayor, and I think just out of respect and for all the work that he did in the community, I'd like to ask if we could stand for a minute, please. Thank you very much. Table of contents as is. Acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge and pay our respects to the Tasmanian Aboriginal community as the traditional and original owners and continuing custodians of this land on which we gather today, and acknowledge elders past, present. Do we have any declarations of interest from any councillors? Councillor Goss.
15.2.
Any other councillors? Okay, thank you. We don't need to move for anything, do we? No. Okay. Confirmation of the council meeting minutes from the ordinary council meeting Monday the 21st of July. I will move with Councillor Adams and Councillor Archer. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. The date of the next council meeting will be Monday the 15th of September. We don't have any motions on notice by a councillor, but there are councillor questions on notice, and I take it, please, that everybody has read those questions and answers. Council committee confirmation of minutes, that the minutes, the committee groups there are listed, that those minutes be received. Councillor Adams and Councillor Lambert. Yes?
I'm concerned that the motions from those committees have not appeared in this agenda, and in fact one of those meetings, which is the Campbelltown District Committee, says that there are no motions going through those minutes. There are clearly 3 motions that are in that. Whilst I appreciate that there are some time constraints in getting all the work done for that, I would believe that these minutes should be delayed until we actually have responses to those motions.
So what we've done is tabled the minutes separately. Obviously the recommendations out of those minutes won't come back until the next council meeting because of the lateness of receiving the minutes, we will consider the recommendations and bring those back to council at the September meeting.
Seeking clarification, the minutes of the Campbelltown meeting where there were 3 motions moved, I notice it says that there are no motions, in fact there were 3 on that. Will that be also reported to the September meeting?
We can check that and make sure if there is recommendations that need to come back, that
Thank
we
you.
will put them on the next agenda.
I see this too with the Longford Town Committee as well. Is that the same situation, late coming in, so they couldn't get to the papers?
The officers haven't had time to look at them.
Okay, I'll put the recommendation that we accept those minutes.
Aye.
All those against? Councillor Terrett's against. And there is a list of the recommendations or otherwise, but they'll come to the next meeting.
Excuse me, Mayor, do we need to move that we accept?
No, that's just part of the course.
That's okay, cool.
Information items, that the open council information items be received. Have a mover and a seconder. Councillor Adams and Councillor Andrews. Any discussion, questions?
Yes.
Councillor Terrett?
Just in relation to the community garden in Perth, I note that Esley is doing a similar project of putting a community gardening, and I'm wondering if that could be looked at, whether that's necessary to have a duplication or whether that can be done concurrently as such. I don't believe we've had much response at this stage from the first.
No, we've had no response from the people that first put up the idea. So I'd say if Escley are doing a community garden, it's probably a good substitute.
Councillor Andrews?
Can I just ask about 7.74.3 on page 18, the mill dam plan, and talks with JBS. I note that we're still waiting for a response from JBS. Is there anything we can do to sort of hurry up that response?
We can follow that up. Obviously, we met with them on the 4th of August, but we can follow that response.
Oh, did we meet with them on the 4th of August, and was the subject of the smell discussed?
Pong.
Pong.
Well, Pong.
Look, I didn't attend the meeting, so I'm not 100% sure, but I can follow that up as well.
Any further questions around the information items? Okay, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Now, we're a bit early for public questions and statements, so we'll move on to Development Services Reports. 13.1, monthly report. Should be page 83. That's as recommended. Councillor Terrett's moving the recommendation. Councillor Lambert seconding. Any discussion? No, I'll put the recommendation. Oh, Councillor Andrews.
Sorry, could I just ask about a figure? I was just on page 87 where we look at the building approvals. I was surprised to see the total value in the 24-25 column was huge. Does that reflect that we've had lots of business happening in the last 12 months in terms of that kind of building? It says that it's 63 million, isn't it? 418, $765.
Sorry, building approvals, I'm not sure, I'm just looking at the figures. We've got new dwellings 33 million, commercial 23 million. There were, I think, a few obviously big developments. Don't know the particulars, yeah, but
Obviously, there was a few at Translink, a few big or large developments, workshops over there.
It just looks like a very good year. And
Last year was even better, 255 million.
Yeah.
well, this is last year, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, but the year
Yeah,
before
year
that
before.
was even larger.
Yeah,
But
true.
I can give you a breakdown
It's okay.
if you
It's
need it.
interesting. Yeah, thanks.
No further questions. I'll put that recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. 14.1 is the Local Government Association of Tasmania, the motions for the 20th of November general meeting. There's a recommendation that council endorse the enclosed motion on retrospective leave for councillors for consideration at the Legat meeting on the 20th of November, and B, that we endorse the motion on flood mapping for consideration at the Legat meeting on the 20th of November. Councillor, you're moving, Councillor Brooks. Seconder, Councillor Terrett. Any discussion? Councillor Brooks, you wish to say anything?
Oh, no, just that you know, given everyone's lifestyle these days, I think it's very important. Things crop up from time to time, no control for councillors, and I think that A would be a good motion if it got up.
I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. 15.1 is the monthly financial statement. Oh, yes, you moved and seconded. It was for both of the motions?
Yep.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, I was just speaking on A.
Yes. And the other one was around the discrepancy with the planning commission and flood mapping. Okay, 15.1 is the monthly financial statement. And there's a recommendation that we receive and note the financial statement for the period ending the 31st of July 2025 and authorise, Councillor Adams is moving, and authorise the budget alterations as listed in item 4. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Archer. Any discussion, any questions?
That was circulated late,
Yes.
councillors will have seen that.
Okay, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Uh, 15.2 is the community funding for festivals and events, round 2. Yes. Okay. Did you just want to be out for one item, Councillor Goss? I don't know which one. Cressy? Okay, so we'll move everything except Cressy. The Cressy Trout Expo, that'd be the one?
Yes, that'd be right.
Do Cressy first, sorry. Beg your pardon. Okay, we'll do the other way around. We'll move, if you wish, move into seconder,
I'll move.
Councillor Adams and Councillor Lambert. Oops. That we fund the Hydro Cressy Trout Expo, 2,000 in kind cash, $2,000. I'll put that recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. I'll just grab it. Okay, now we'll move that we allocate the round 2 event assistance as per the schedule. Eskley Foundation for their Christmas Family Day, the Tasmanian National Dancing Association, the Scots Day Oot, Wilmers Estate Festival of Roses, Turf Club Tasmania, the Longford Cup New Year's Day races, Longford Squash Club for their 40th year reunion, and the Evandale Light Rail and Steam Society Festival of Rail. Councillor Adams, you're moving, and Councillor Lambert is seconding. Your question, yes?
Just in relation to the Turf Club, I noticed their application, well, they didn't complete an application, only sent an email saying we want the same money as last year. And whilst it may be worthwhile, can we please seek clarification of what that actually is for?
So obviously that's sponsorship for that day. Previously, I think in the last 3 or 4 years, they've requested an extra allocation. Before that, we only provide them with $1,000, and they just couldn't make ends meet with that amount of sponsorship. So council, 3 or 4 years ago, decided to up that to $5,000.
No other questions?
We also kept the races going during COVID,
Yes.
right, through extra cleaning and meeting the standards that were set.
Yes. I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Carried. 16.1, comments regarding the feasibility of the Longford heavy vehicle bypass, and a recommendation there that council take no further action at this time and continue to monitor heavy vehicles in Longford. Councillor Goss, are you moving the recommendation?
I'll second
Councillor
Can
Goss?
I foreshadow another motion,
You
please?
can, yes, and Brooks is seconding, and Councillor Andrews is foreshadowing, yes. Councillor Goss,
No, I can't amend it now, can I? It's already been.
you can ask for an amendment.
I'll seek an amendment to the motion. I'll seek an amendment to the motion.
How do you mean? You can amend this motion if you wish.
Yes, can I still do that? Can I seek?
Yes,
Seek to amend the motion.
yes, you can. So, give Lee your amendment.
So rather than take no further action at this time and continue to monitor heavy vehicles in Longford, that we put the action aside till we find out the result of the current state government election.
That's a completely different one, different motion, so that'll have to be a foreshadowed motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for the advice.
Okay, so any discussion on the motion that's there, that council take no action at this time and continue to monitor vehicles, heavy vehicles? Councillor Terrett.
Just be concerning this. Heavy vehicles through particularly Marlborough Street and Wellington Street is increasing, and I don't think as a council we should block off saying we're not going to do anything in the future. There is a concern here, and that people living in those streets constantly get heavy vehicles. There was suggestions in the Longford District Committee that maybe there are some time restrictions imposed on heavy vehicles coming through. There are other options, and I think we must, as a council, this is not going to go away. This is going to increase in the next couple of years. Are there other alternatives? Certainly, there were concerns raised in relation to Bishop Bourne and Wilmots Lane, but there were other suggestions, and I think Councillor Andrews correctly highlighted some of those ones in the past. I think we should continue to investigate this, and the fact that there was an election promise that that would be investigated in the future. I think it's important we continue as a council to look at ways of alleviating heavy vehicle movements in Wellington Street. But I'm also concerned that we also respect the agricultural usage of our streets as well, and that we also allow that to continue along. So just to say that's the end of it, I don't believe it is the end of it, and I'll be voting against this as a consequence.
Councillor Andrews.
That's sort of what I was trying to get at in terms of asking to foreshadow a motion. What I agree with Councillor Terrett on this. I wouldn't like to see this tossed out and never returned to. There has to be some solution for Longford and heavy vehicle traffic down the main street, and it would be good if we could keep an eye on what goes on with our state government election, because as Councillor Terrett pointed out, Labor, if by chance at this stage Labor might actually take government, it looks unlikely now, but if they did, they have a policy on their books that they would provide money for a investigation into options for a heavy vehicle bypass for Longford. The money is there that we could use. So I'm hoping that we don't throw this subject out altogether, that we keep an eye on what's going on externally, and there might be an opportunity to get funding from elsewhere to investigate other options, because there are other options.
I would assume it'll come back on if that occurs. Councillor Archer.
Like, I think the motion says no further action at this time. It doesn't say ever. And the situation is that I think there's lots of issues we need to look at here. It's not just the traffic, but obviously at the moment, traffic through Longford is going on a state growth funded road. Any alternative will be then pushed to a council road as far as I can see. So there are very, very considerable budget issues here. I think it's going to take long-term planning, but at this stage, I think we have other priorities perhaps the council should be concentrating on. That's not to say we shouldn't be aware of political moves and also any other information that comes to mind. But I think at this stage, that motion, I'll be.
Councillor Adams.
Thank you. Yes, this is going to be an ongoing issue. It's certainly not going to go away. It's going to continue to increase. And, you know, this is a plus in the sense of the economic activities and the agriculture growth that we have in our district and south of Longford. But then we've got Sticky Beaks Corner again, so there's these issues that are around traffic will continue to be with us for a long time. Councillor Archer is quite right. If we take this off the state responsibility, the council ratepayers would have to fit the bill, and I don't think that's going to be fair because there'll be an enormous cost in doing that. But we need to somehow work out how we continue to talk to state growth and also to get statistics to show what's coming through the town and how that affects the town. So we probably need to think about a motion in the future that will cover us in that way.
Councillor Lambert.
Yeah, I'll be supporting that we take no further action at this time. That's not to say that this is the end of it. There'll be plenty of opportunities to bring back further motions if anything changes with the state government.
Any further? Councillor Brooks.
Yeah, I think, you know, it was driven by a political promise from the Labor Party that probably, you know, they would have funded a study, but a study then doesn't fund the project. So there's a lot of money at stake, and there's a lot more things around the municipality that we need to be concentrating on rather than a bypass that would be used by very little people. To force trucks to use a bypass of Longford, extra money, no one would use it. You can't make someone use that bypass road, so there'd be a lot of money to spend on such a waste of time, in my opinion.
Councillor Goss, would you like to sum up?
I think everything's been said. Yeah, thank you.
I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against?
Yeah.
Councillor Terrett and Councillor Andrews are against. The motion's carried. So I'm sorry your foreshadow motion doesn't get a say. Okay, 16.2. We've got time.
Yeah.
The review of Sticky Beaks Corner, the corner of Wellington and Marlborough Streets, Longford Audit Report, and with the recommendation that council make no changes and B, continue to monitor vehicle and pedestrian safety at the intersection. Councillor Goss.
I'll move the recommendation, thank you.
I'll second it.
Councillor Brooks is seconding. Councillor Goss, do you wish to speak?
No, I just think that we've invested a lot of time and money into this, and State Growth has done some stuff as well, and they've made modifications to the site, and if we want to do something else with the council, it's going to cost council money. Look, State Growth have made their statement on it, they've done the investigation of it, they've put everything forward. They think it's the best thing for the site, and it's their site because it's their road. And I think that if we do any changes to it, we'll only come back and maybe haunt council in the future. So I'm going to leave it where it is.
Point of order.
This motion would be changing or rescinding a previous motion that was put to council in March of 2023. That motion, if this motion is to go ahead, has no statement from the General Manager, as is required under Regulation 18.3, that the impact of rescinding that motion, and I'll remind the council what that motion was.
What date was it, please?
March 2023, motion 23-095. And that motion was moved to this council and accepted that the JMG report option 2 steel bollards be revisited and a timeline be put in place to implement the recommendation should that be an improved solution. Now, at this stage, we have not received any report and therefore no action is taken back in regards to this. Our meeting procedures clearly states when a matter is being rescinded or to be altered, our previous motion to be altered significantly, it requires certain action. And in this report, that action has not occurred.
I personally thought we did revisit it, but And this, I'm just informed, is a follow-up to that report, to that revisiting.
So the works manager might be able to clarify, but
Yeah.
I thought that this was the result of,
The Safe Solution wasn't part of this report, I believe. The one, because that's what State Growth actually, they paid for it, they got a mainland company in to do that. I remember reading the report.
That was-
So again, now, we'll go back to this, you've done your point of order. Ruling on that, we'll just have to investigate it, won't we?
well, no, I think the works manager understands that this, the report that's tabled tonight is a result of that motion.
Okay, councillor Brooks, it's your turn to speak.
Yeah, I seconded the motion. What we've got to remember here is that State Growth signed off on this job. Like, this was the job that they wanted us to do, and we done it. It's proved its worth. We've already had one accident up there at Sticky Beaks Corner, and those planter boxes / bollards have actually saved the building and anyone else that was in the vicinity of it, with low impact to the car. Changing all this around would be who's going to pay for it? Do we bill State Growth? Do we pay for it ourselves? It's unnecessary waste of ratepayers' money, in my opinion. I think the town people of Longford have accepted it now. I've been through there a lot of times, and I've actually engaged the community on this. And yes, there is a few people that don't like it, but the majority of people in Longford are happy for it, and it protects the building and protects the people around it. So I'm quite happy to leave it as it is.
Councillor Adams.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, well, I think this is an issue on this corner, which is known as our Heritage Corner, the Longford Heritage Corner, and it's a very historical and wonderful corner, but it's getting a lot of pressure, and we had those accidents, and the bollards were put in the boxes. I don't think it's going away. I think as the pressure of traffic continues, it'll need to be dealt with by State Growth, and again, we'll need to talk to State Growth, and we'll need to get statistics of the movement of traffic coming through, and there may be a realignment. Now, remember, this corner was built with the horse and carts, and the old water trough was there, so they could do it. Turn the cart with the horses, and they could have a drink as they went past. So we're now dealing with the traffic flows of today on a corner that's been there a long time. So quite happy to support our present situation, but it's not gonna be the finish of the circumstances.
Councillor Archer.
Look, I was against, at the last meeting I voted against not doing nothing, because I believe that one of the boxes could be removed or at least lowered. It's the one you look at when you look left towards Cressy. I believe that one is unnecessary. The report did suggest that all those boxes be moved back, I think, 1/2 metre. That is a significant report. But that report, I'll agree, was more to do with trucks perhaps turning around the corner than it was to do with protecting the building. But as far as I'm concerned, I still think something should be done to improve it. And that box I just mentioned, I can't explain it tonight, but there is a little bit of work there that can be done. It says in removing the planter boxes or lowering the planter boxes, I think $8,000 for the total. So one would be worth maybe, I don't know, 2,000, whatever. And I accept that is a reasonable cost to improve what I think is a pretty ugly corner in its present configuration.
Councillor Terrett.
I continue to believe that this is an illegal motion in accordance with the local government meeting regulations, that we are effectively taking action on a motion that has not been rescinded. The steel bollards, I've seen no reports, and I've gone right through all our information, even in this report, doesn't make reference to anywhere of this that the steel bollards to be removed. It was originally moved in March of 2023. It's now a year and 9 months since that was moved, and still waiting for that report. The bollards have not been, the concrete bollards were not crash tested. The recommendation for lowering the speed limit in that area is still constant matter raised within the Longford District Committee, and to lower that speed limit in Marlborough Street from 60 to 50. But I think also the fact that lowering the speed limit to 40 around that corner is something that should be considered. And one of the things that State Growth has said, areas of low speed limit that don't require barriers. I'm not advocating for no barriers. I actually believe that we should have metal steel barriers placed there. The testing, they have not been tested for absorption and whether impact would be absorbed. The State Growth recommended that the height of those barriers should only be 800 millimetres. It's over that, and that's from the ground level up, so that includes the road surface up, and therefore was advocating for that to be reduced. There's already been some sideswiping of those boxes in the past. Whilst we have fortunately had one accident on that corner, it did knock off the metal surround, and which was not in keeping with the historical significance. The report actually says that Heritage Tasmania had no objections. Clarification on that is that they have no objection because it wasn't within the Heritage Register. And in fact, Heritage Tasmania states that the boxes detract from the historical townscape character of Longford, and the boxes detract from a place that is entered in the Tasmanian Heritage Register for its architectural and landscape contributions. We have not taken those into account, and the boxes that are there have been described by some people as unsightly. That's a matter of their opinion. But we also must be considering why the boxes were put there. There's no protection across the road in properties in William Street. We're taking no action in there. There was some recommendation to remove one car parking spot in Marlborough Street. That's being ignored as well. I believe that council should continue to look at this intersection and not do nothing and no change. I think it's important to do change. The fact that the line of sight for vehicles turning out of Wellington Street into Marlborough Street is blocked, and that also means it's blocked not just for the vehicles, the drivers, but also for children coming from that area. I believe it's creating a dangerous situation, and unfortunately, should it be remained, I hope that it doesn't have a fatal accident in the future. Certainly, I think it's a matter of that, and significantly, our heritage corner, and we put ourselves as a heritage council, that we are not protecting the heritage of Longford by leaving those bollards there.
Any further discussion? Councillor Andrews, you're the...
Point of order.
Yes.
This issue of whether we're doing something illegal, is there any clarification on that, or?
My understanding from the Works Manager is that this report came back as part of, in answer to the bollard motion. So that's my understanding. Obviously, the General Manager is not here tonight, which is unfortunate, but he would probably know more. But at this stage, my understanding is that that report came back from State Growth as a result of the other motion.
Clarification on that. Those bollards, there was no mention to the steel bollards anywhere in those reports.
You've had to say, Councillor Terrett. Councillor Goss, you want to sum up?
Only just, Madam, do we need to withdraw this motion so that come back to a future council meeting, so some of this stuff can be clarified? Is that what we need to do? Because I don't know if it's really that crucial to do the thing tonight. We could have it next month. Would that be something we need to do, or?
Well, obviously council can do that if they like, but I do believe that that we're probably right.
Yeah.
You can foreshadow a motion like such as that, if you wish. And at the moment now, I'll put that motion. All those in favour?
Hang on.
Sorry. Councillor Goss can foreshadow a motion if he wishes to bring it back to the next meeting, but we'll see how the vote goes tonight for this motion, because we've already discussed it.
I think because it's been questioned about the clarity of thing, I think that we should, I'd like for shadow motion that we bring it back to a future council meeting so that some of those points can be clarified, because it makes it a bit problematic if what we're doing is not quite right.
All right, so I'll put this motion that we've got here, that council make no changes, pardon me, and continue to monitor vehicle and pedestrian safety at the intersection. I'll put that motion. All those in favour?
This is A and B.
Yes, A and B. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against?
Yeah.
So put your hands up, please, against. Councillor Terrett, Councillor Archer and Councillor Andrews. The motion's carried. So there would be no foreshadowed motion, sorry. Okay, we now need to go.
Clarification on that. Will there be clarification brought back to a future council meeting about
Yes,
this motion?
we can most certainly check that.
We'll go back to public question time. Okay, now I invite any members of the public who wish to make a statement or ask a question about something that's not related to a planning item. So just state your name and the town you live in.
Yeah, I'm just, the people have already passed that motion because what I wanted to discuss might improve it. So I'll be very brief. I'll just leave a couple of things with you. These were discussed at our last district committee meeting, so I think you've all already know them. When you look at those, you'll see what we were suggesting is that we raise the road just slightly, which we'd have, obviously we'd have to go to council, we'd have to approach state growth. But what we were looking at was raising the road from Sticky Beach Corner down to the library. Because when you coming from Cressy, when you come past Sticky Beach Corner, those that do it regularly, and you turn to go down past the library without even doing anything, you speed up. And we've already had motions before this council before about putting traffic lights or whatever. We've got nowhere with state growth lights thus far. But in the minutes of the Longford District Committee, we put a motion that council approach state growth to consider something like that, which might be a solution. And it certainly helps Sticky Beach Corner.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb. Is there anybody else from members of the community who wish to ask a question or make a statement about something that's not related to planning? No, we move into planning. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Lambert, Councillor Adams. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Now, is there anyone in the public gallery who wishes to make a statement about any of the planning, about planning one, which is 75 Leylands Road, Evandale, 34 assisted housing units, redevelop and use existing access over 15906 Midlands Highway, alter access in Leylands Road. I can have 2 speakers for and 2 against. Just state your name and the town you live in.
Jo Fearman, CEO at City Mission. I live in Launceston. Good evening, councillors. City Mission has served Northern Tasmania for over 170 years, caring for vulnerable Tasmanians with compassion and purpose. For nearly 3 decades, Missiondale has been a place of refuge and transformation for people battling addiction. Tasmania's only therapeutic community for drug and alcohol recovery, it allows people to rebuild their lives, reconnect with family and re-enter the workforce. But we know that recovery doesn't end when the program does. Many of our clients return to environments that reignite old behaviours and social pressures. Without stable housing and continued support, there's a risk of relapse. Across Tasmania, the housing crisis is deepening. Rental affordability is declining, homelessness is rising, and our clients are especially vulnerable. Thousands are waiting for housing and homelessness is increasing. Let me tell you about Grace. Grace arrived at Missiondale ready to make courageous changes. She completed the program and stayed at one of our 2 on-site units while she studied and volunteered. With our help, she applied for long-term housing, but after 12 months, she was still unsuccessful to secure housing. Grace moved into a women's shelter, grateful for safety, but without stability. Grace's story is not unique. Many face the same confronting reality, recovery without a safe place to land. That's why we're proposing on-site housing at Missiondale. It isn't just about shelter, it's about creating the best possible chance for long-term success. Housing on site will allow clients to transition from recovery to independent living with continued access to support. It will reduce relapse, strengthen outcomes, and offer a real pathway to an addiction-free future. We've listened to our community, we've met with our neighbours several times and changed our designs in response to feedback. We've sought further meetings. We've invited our neighbours on Leylands Road to meet with us. We remain open, respectful, and committed to collaboration. We firmly believe the planning and technical basis for the refusal is flawed, and we note that the planning report contradicts itself. The property was previously a hospital, and we expect the traffic through our existing right-of-way to be less than that. We're committed to serve vulnerable Tasmanians, and we'll continue to advocate for them. We implore you to support our proposal today. With your support, Missiondale Housing can become a second chance for more Tasmanians, offering a refuge from the past, a path to recovery, and a hope for the future. And we can never underestimate the power of a second chance.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak about Planning 1, 75 Leylands Road?
Sarah Henley, Loretto Community Housing, Hobart. Councillors, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'd also like to acknowledge Jo for her thoughtful insights into the supports provided by Missiondale and the opportunities this proposal offers. Today, I'd like to speak to the basis of the recommendation for planning refusal and offer some context for your consideration. The basis of the planning recommendation refusal relates to access and to access alone. The access point in question has been in use for many years, some 70 years to my knowledge. The only proposed change to this application is a minor widening to improve safety and accommodate a modest increase in traffic. The planner's recommendation for refusal is based on a perceived potential for land use conflict with the adjacent farming operation. However, there is no evidence of actual conflict. The access is sealed, which mitigates dust. It is adjacent to Leylands Road, which carries significantly more traffic and noise. And any farm management needs, such as stock crossing, can be effectively managed through infrastructure solutions such as gates. Importantly, Council has a discretion to make decisions that differ from officer recommendations for refusal. Clause 7.6.1 of the planning scheme allows for subjective assessment of non-conforming accesses, providing the flexibility to consider broader community benefits. Councillors, I ask you to consider, does this minor increase to a use of an existing access truly outweigh the significant and lasting benefits of that Missiondale provides our community? This is not just a planning matter, it's a question of values. Missiondale supports individuals and families in crisis, helping them to rebuild their lives. The facility's impact is real and its reach is growing. Loretto Community Housing provides over 3,000 homes throughout Tasmania, and the need for this type of supported housing is real. We see it on a daily basis. If approved, Loretto Community Housing will partner with Launceston City Mission to manage the tenancies and provide this vulnerable cohort further support in maintaining rehabilitation and safe and sustainable housing solutions. We are not asking for special treatment, we're asking for fair consideration. The infrastructure concerns are manageable and the community benefit is undeniable. We respectfully ask that the Council exercise its discretion under clause 7.6.1 and support this application in recognition of the broader community value. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. That's 2-4. Does anybody wish to speak against this? Well, it's not against because we've recommended for refusal. Anyone else wishes to speak about this planning item? Okay. Planning 2. Is there anybody in the gallery who wishes to speak about the subdivision 41 Catherine Street, Longford? Planning 3. Does anyone wish to make a comment about the draft amendment to apply the flood-prone areas hazard code, the overlay to land at Perth, Campbelltown and Ross? No? Okay, so we'll go to planning one. Oops. Okay, can I have the planning, hang on a minute, 11.1, 75 Leylands Road, Evandale, 34 assisted housing units, redevelop and use existing access over 15906 Midlands Highway, alter access in Leylands Road. The recommendation is that the application to develop and use the land for the, what I've just said, and also be refused on the following grounds. One, the increase in use of the right-of-way access over 15906 Midlands Highway for residential assisted housing has the potential for land use conflict with the existing farm operations 15906 Midlands Highway. Contrary to clause 7.6.1 and C, B and C of the planning scheme. So can I have a
Move as recommended.
move as recommended? To refuse, to have a seconder? To refuse.
I'll be opposing this
I
recommendation.
need a seconder for the refusal.
I'll just start discussion, I'll second that.
Councillor Archer. Councillor Terrick, do you wish to speak?
I would withhold my speech on this one.
Councillor Archer, do you wish to speak?
Yes, I stood for council because I respect the right to farm legislation. This is a very unusual situation where you have a development like this in the middle of a farming property. I also have to vote on planning legislation, and even though I'm very sympathetic to what the two presenters have said today, I have to follow planning procedures. I have experience in farming and traffic, and also in some other issues related to living next to residential areas. And this is probably a point to raise. This is a significant increase in, well, I'll say permanent residents, because hopefully all the cottages would be used permanently. But also, I think it sets a dangerous precedent in planning, where this kind of development, which was initially apparently from the war, generous contribution by a farming family, is now coming back to some degree to bite them. I believe there's class 5 and 6 land around Launceston which the state government could quite easily provide for this kind of development. It's just a matter of, I think, at the moment, developers are going for the easier option, and this is class 4 land. And so I just cannot see that I can vote for the project to go ahead, and therefore I will have to support the officer's recommendation.
Councillor Adams.
Well, I support this application. I think it's a needed assisted housing for people, as has been outlined by the proponent, proposed person here tonight, or two of them. And I would have thought that we could have put some conditions to improve and answer most of the objections. So I thought it was unfortunate. So I'll be voting against the recommendation of the councillors, and I would hope that others will also do that. I think that I'm sympathetic to the farming community, to the farm involved, but this has been a chest hospital in the 1930s, been through other situations. It plays a very important role and will continue to do that. We heard the need of why this is being proposed, and there's infrastructure there. That's why to say that you can find other land, you have to have all the connections and the cost of building close to a city. So I'll be opposing this. I would hope other councillors do as well, and then we could possibly move for it to be approved with conditions.
Any further discussion?
I'd like to speak if there's
You can sum up when everyone else has had a go now. Councillor Andrews.
Thank you. I'll also be opposing this motion, and I, like Councillor Archer beside me, have grown up in a rural district, so I'm very sympathetic and familiar with the needs of farmers and landowners and being able to look after their land. But this is a little bit different. We're not looking at something that's new, that's going to be put in the middle of a valuable piece of agricultural land. It's been there since the 1930s as the Chest Hospital and then Mission Dale as a health services facility, if you like. We've heard tonight that it's the state's only therapeutic facility of this kind, and it's been a success story. Mission Dale has done wonderful work, and what they're suggesting here is a natural progression of that work. And I'm thinking that, you know, if there's an objection to it by the landowners surrounding that site, that the objections would have come when Mission Dale was first established. Nothing's changing. The land, the laneway in will not increase in size. It'll be bitumened, so there won't be dust, etc. The gates will be there for stock movement, as they have been since Mission Dale was set up, and probably when the Chest Hospital was set up. And the Mission Dale people are very willing to talk to neighbours to help them with any problems that they might have. So I would like to see this development go ahead, so I'm going to be voting against this motion.
Okay, any further discussion? Councillor Lambert.
I'll be voting against it as well. I won't go over all the reasons. They've already been spoken about, but I do just want to reiterate the fact that this is tens of millions of dollars of development in the Northern Midlands area. These two, the farm and I think Mission Dale, have been living and coexisting, I believe, well for 30 plus years, I think was mentioned tonight, and well before that with Chest Hospitals and other health facilities. I think that the right of way is an existing right of way, and that I believe that this planning should go ahead to be able to provide some of that housing for people who are moving from that, vulnerable people moving out of that rehabilitation into a little bit more of an independent living with supports attached to it. I think is very important. Those people are not going to be out in the wider community looking for and competing in the rental market with every other person who's looking for rental as well. It's a little bit more of a safe and secure environment for them to rehabilitate. So I will not be supporting this motion. Sorry.
Councillor Brooks.
Yeah, I'll be voting against it as well. They've been there for a long period of time with no issues. Not to my knowledge anyway. I've been on council 12, 13 years, never had one problem through council. So I can't see why all of a sudden now there's an issue with the driveway. So yeah, I'll be definitely voting against this.
No further discussion. Councillor Terrett, do you wish to sum up?
Yes, I do actually. What we have, and I have no, I'd always believe that people actually deserve a second chance. What we have before us is a planning application, and we must determine the planning application on the basis of what we have before us. The officers have recommended the refusal on the basis of access, and that the access route is not compatible with surrounding farmland. Farmland, often these has been generously given many years ago to put the Chest Hospital there. I've heard tonight that it's not changing. Well, it is changing. It's changing from 2 units to 34 units. This will be an increase in use of that access road, and also concerns where there is an access road across farms. Often you start getting trespassing. There is a threat to biosecurity due to people coming onto those lands. visitors. There's also the impact that that's going to have. Now, we have 34 units at the moment, and it's not like there is a shortage of land to do this, and I'd welcome it to be placed in another location. It's just the wrong location for this particular development, and to have an access road through a farm, and somebody who's been a farmer in the past, having gates open and cattle and sheep get out, that's always a threat when you have people who don't respect the fact you have an agricultural activity. The right to farm is an important aspect, and when we look at anything that is surrounded by a farm, we must also think about the farmers who use that land. The fact it's been there for so long has been very good. We have an application to say that this will change, and therefore I respect the decision of our planners to refuse this application on the basis of the access road.
Okay, well, I'm going to say a few words before I put the motion. I would just like to ask you if any of your family members or a friend needed to use the program that's offered out at Missiondale. I would hope you would consider that ongoing support with accommodation.
Point of order, Madam Chair. I've recognized the last speaker here, and no further
I
speakers.
am allowed to make a statement
You
before I
should
put
have
the
done that at the
motion.
beginning of this debate. I have no right of reply to you.
Councillor Terrett, you had to say.
You're now influencing the vote here now, Madam Chair.
Everybody influences the vote. I beg your pardon.
But I have been the last mover and the last speaker. You're now
I-
introducing new
Point of order to you,
information.
councillor Terrett. I will put the motion. All those in favour of refusing the application?
All right.
All those against? Aye. So myself, councillor Adams, councillor Goss, you're against, councillor Lambert, councillor Brooks and councillor Andrews. The motion is lost. So now we need another motion. Councillor Adams?
I'll move that the planning item 24-0136, 75 Leylands Road, Emmendale, for 34 assistant housing units redevelopment and use existing access over 15906 Midlands Highway, alter access in Leylands Road. I move that development be passed with conditions under a paper 11.1 draft conditions of approval. And I understand
We've
they've
all
been
got a
tabled.
copy of those, so yes, they've been tabled. So do I have a seconder? Councillor Brooks.
The debate has been had really, and I think there's a need for this. I am sympathetic that there may be some slight extra pressure, but I understand that the fencing, these sort of conditions, in these conditions that we've imposed, and the issue of water runoff, etc., is going to be dealt with. So I move the motion.
Councillor Brooks, do you wish to speak?
No, nothing further, mate.
Any further comment from anybody? Councillor Archer?
Yes, in relation to your comments, Mayor, in regards to the last motion, I will say that I consider I am a strong supporter of the project. My social conscience is quite clear on this. I'm here as a planning in a planning situation, as a planning authority. Council is not in a position to continually fight against planning legislation through the appeals court. And as far as I'm concerned, while I support all the conditions that we've got here, and obviously Councillor Adams is foreseeing will go with the project, I must stick to my obligation as a planning authority. And I believe that this project, while it would be very valuable for the community, in good planning, would not be in this location.
Councillor Terrett?
Yes, just echoing Councillor Archer's comments. We are a planning authority, and as such, we depend on the advice of our planners in the first instance. Whilst there is an opportunity to amend that, I believe there is not a basis for amending it in this circumstance. There is a need that we have to acknowledge the neighbours in this property, and such things as stormwater runoff whilst it says it will be addressed in future, I have concerns about this. The effect on the biosecurity of the neighbours is something that, whilst that is not a planning matter, it is something that it should be mindful of this particular application. And I regret that this matter is approved, that it will be detrimental to the farmers in that area.
Councillor Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm very comfortable with approving this now we've seen the conditions that are going to go with it, because our council officers recommended against this application on only one condition. And in the conditions that we want to now put on this motion to approve, that has been taken care of, as well as a number of other things that were voiced as concerns around the table, such as stormwater runoff, etc. They are addressed in these conditions that we want to put on the planning application, so I'm very happy to pass it.
Any further discussion? And Councillor Adams, you don't wish to sum up?
No.
I'll put the recommendation that we approve this development. All those in favour? Against?
Yes.
Councillor Terrett and Councillor Archer. The motion's carried. Okay, planning 2.
I'll move the recommendation.
Councillor Adams, it's a subdivision to realign the boundary between two lots, 41 Catherine Street, Longford. There's a recommendation that we approve it. So Councillor Adams is moving and Councillor Andrews is seconding. Councillor Adams, do you wish to speak to it?
No, I think it's straightforward. It's sorting out old planning of 2 blocks together and now realigning them so there can be 2 individual blocks. There's one house will built on a piece of the other one.
Councillor Andrews, do you wish to say something?
No, thank you.
Any discussion? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Okay, planning 3 is a draft amendment to apply the flood-prone areas hazard code overlay to land at Perth, Campbelltown and Ross. And the recommendation is that council withdraw the draft amendment to apply the flood-prone flood-prone areas hazard code overlay to land at Perth, Campbelltown and Ross under section 40E1B of the Land Use Planning and Approvals Act 1993, and B, continues to work with the Tasmanian State Emergency Services Flood Policy Unit to develop greater alignment between local council flood studies and the Tasmanian Strategic Flood Maps. Councillor Andrews, you're moving? Yep. And Councillor Adams, you're seconding? Councillor Andrews, do you wish to speak?
Yes, I think this is a wise motion that our officers have suggested. This current discussion has created all sorts of concerns, etc., for everybody. But more importantly, our officers have pointed out that there will be changes to come, and if we go with the SES mapping now and make it part of our regulations, then there'll be changes and we'll have to do it all over again, and changes and we'll have to do it all over again. So I think it's wise to just stop and see what's going on for a while and then maybe think about it again later.
Councillor Adams.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we've got to deal with the issues that are before us, and we were well in front and out in front. The state government was well behind with getting flood information up to climate change issues and things that we should have been dealing with over the last 5 to 10 years. I think we're getting there now, but we'll have to hold back somewhat on what we're doing. But there are areas, of course, in our municipality which are very flood prone. We've got many towns which are influenced by floods, and if there's an increase in the rainfall at once, we will have more flooding. So we need to have that within our planning structures. And so there are issues like over at Perth where we get underneath the rail, culvert, Drummond Street, bridge. These issues all change the dynamics of the water flow and make it hopefully make sure that that's getting away and doesn't cause problems to town folk and etc. So I think it's wise that we do this and go down this track.
Councillor Lambert.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to make sure that as a council we put something out to the community so they understand the reasons why if this is passed, why this is withdrawn, because we initiated the amendment in the first place. We've had people put in representation, so I just want to make sure that the implications of whatever decisions made tonight are expressed very clearly to our community so they understand why we are taking the path and the path that we're taking subsequent to whatever the decision is tonight. It's clear.
Yes, absolutely. Councillor Archer.
Look, I support the motion. I think the whole process has been very, very badly handled by the state government. I'm happy to say that. I think it's created a lot of angst amongst people. It's not good planning legislation. We have a situation where Legat should have been up front and involved. It should have been a coordinated response from all councils. It's created a lot of fear in the community. We can't deny that what we think was safe before is probably not safe. It's the way you manage that risk and that fear. But also, I don't think they ever considered the economic consequences to families about their private home and their insurance. And I think that we all need to just settle back and try and have a coordinated response, which all the public and the councils agree covers the potential damage we will face from climate change.
Councillor Terrett.
I'll be supporting this on the basis that we do need to withdraw. I think council in putting this up previously, the information was not as accurate according to the Tasmanian Planning Commission. There were a number of factors that weren't brought into play. Some of the flooding that was not taken on a historical basis was only taken to the most recent floods. And for example, Ross wasn't taken for the 1929 flood or the 2016 flood or the 1969 flood. It was taken on the most recent data.
Can I interrupt you there, please, Councillor Terrett? Our hydrologist incorporated all the flooding, the events that have happened.
You're referring to the SES?
The SES is completely different.
The SES who didn't
Yes.
include that.
It didn't include
Councillor Terrett, continue.
or the levy at Longford.
And there needs to be accurate plotting in the future. My concern, and shared with Councillor Lambert, is the fact that we have to keep the community engaged in this area. There were only 10 representations given in relation to this before it went up to the Planning Commission before we approved this. And many people who have spoken to in both Perth, Campbelltown and Ross were unaware of this until this was rejected. I'm probably pleased that it was rejected because people didn't know the ramifications of this onto their properties, and we need to have those ramifications really explained to the community and keep them on board during this process. The other aspect of this is flood mitigation and the need for council to look at some flood mitigation and working with the community of how we can improve flooding, the areas that could be impacted by flooding. There's been a very informed group in Ross who's looked at the impact of placing vegetation to slow down flows and moving some vegetation to other areas. The question is is there any other devices which would also assist in reducing what could be flood-prone areas? It is disappointing that people's properties and their futures have been impacted by this, and we as a council must be mindful of the impacts of that onto our communities.
Any further discussion? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Okay, now it's closed council.
Out of committee, planning?
I'll move out of planning, beg pardon, yes, Councillor Adams and Councillor Lambert, we'll move out of planning. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Oh yes, we'll have our meal break right now. Yeah.